Hey guys, I'm just on break here from my classes online. I'm teaching on an online platform right here, and I've got about 18 minutes left until my next class. So, one of the things I like to do here in the Philippines is to teach online. I mean, I think I've mentioned that in past videos. And it's kind of hit and miss, to be honest with you. I do have consistent students that show up quite frequently, but at the same time, there are days where it's quite quiet. So I feel like I am the marketplace teacher. Like it's like the teacher who's out in the traditional marketplace, selling his classes to anybody that's willing to stop by and have a class, except digitally. So, anyways, y'all, it's good to see you, and let me show you a little bit of what I'm working with here. So as you can see here, I just have one more class left for today, and then that's it. Right up there, it says the priority hour. So for this platform, actually, you can select like certain times that you will absolutely be in front of the computer. And even if a student doesn't come to your little marketplace stall of English learning, you'll still get paid like I think for 15 minutes out of the hour. So it's not too bad. Many vloggers have said it before, but just to reiterate a point that's been brought up quite frequently, yes, you do have to mind your money. You do have to mind your money while you're here and working and living in the Philippines. It's just a must. So you have to have something in mind to do before you actually come here. Like, how are you going to generate income? And what's possible for you depending on your background, your skills background. Because unless you have like your residency card, you really can't work here at all unless you're working online or digitally. So unless you have some other kinds of passive income going on, it's a must. You have to have some kind of thing going on. Otherwise, it's going to be a big challenge. And this is something I guess that I'm just expressing, in agreement with everybody else that I've been hearing saying this. At the same time, this applies especially to those vloggers or those people who want to move abroad and live in the Philippines, specifically in the Philippines, that if you're not, an older gentleman, like somebody that's, cashing in on a pension, and somebody that's coming from like a working background, you need to have a steady stream of income coming in here. And so how are you going to do it? Those are the questions that you need to ask yourself and try to find answers to. Obviously, you should have the answers to that before you arrive, if that makes any kind of sense. Now, let's say like you are one of the health tourists. We do have people that are like vegans or fruitarians, people that want to enjoy fresh produce, and they decide to move to Southeast Asia, like Thailand or here in the Philippines or Indonesia. If you're one of those people who's also not of retirement age and wants to spend an extended period of time in Southeast Asia, because of the situation here in the Philippines, I actually, unless you have family here, I would be very, very wary if you don't have any kind of digital work that you can do. I would instead actually suggest going to Malaysia if you're planning on doing like your regular, 9 to 5 kind of job, where you can, trade your time for money. Because Malaysia will give you those opportunities. You can get It's relatively easy to get like a work visa to go there and to start working, especially in the field of education. Singapore as well. Singapore is very, very competitive, and I think it's a great place for young people to go to if they want to, again, move to Southeast Asia and get a start here. The reason I mentioned that, because if you don't have those skills that can be done online, you're just not going to have work in the Philippines unless you're doing something like vlogging. And obviously, I don't make money from this, but like, let's say you're a professional vlogger or involved in education. If you're involved in IT, yes, those are go-to careers that you can take around the world, possibly. But if you don't have that kind of background, again, if you're just maybe more into carpentry, or if you're into actual engineering, those types of things, it's considerably harder to find any kind of work like that here, if not impossible. But Malaysia, on the other hand, they do have work, and they do have a substantial foreign amount of people who live there. In fact, I think that they have such high numbers of foreign residents or non-Malaysian citizen residents, that they're getting a little bit tired of that as well. So you might also want to try in Indonesia. I do have a former colleague who is the principal of a school in part of Malaysia, pardon me, in Indonesia. So that is definitely an option for those who have an educational background. One of the things you need to consider as well is like, why do you want to move abroad? And like I mentioned just a minute ago, some people move for the health benefits, for food tourism. Some people like to settle down permanently for the lifestyle that's available in Southeast Asia, specifically in the Philippines where I am. Um, One of the things that actually motivates me, surprisingly, maybe surprisingly for some people, is that in the Philippines there still is a strong family culture. I mentioned that in my last video, but what that translates to is that schools still they have like there's a lot of school spirit at the schools here. So if you're working and able to put your child maybe like in a private institute where or private school where they speak English as the medium, you'll be kind of surprised by the amount of enthusiasm that the teachers have, by the school spirit held by the students, and just in general, the whole atmosphere at the schools is much different than in the United States, and different for the better in that regard. Yes, some schools don't perform to the level that you might hope that they would. That I wouldn't say that that's true for my child's school, but at the same time, I have no like fear of or even concerns about like school shootings or things like that. Like that kind of extreme bullying, and bullying happens here, but that kind of extreme bullying that leads to like school shootings, I haven't heard of anything like that here, or in the whole the whole area here in general in Southeast Asia. I think it's a much more wholesome place, I guess, to raise children, in different in that regard, I should say. So it's something to consider. So raising a family is one option, or having healthy food available to you is another. There are different reasons to be in a community that you feel comfortable with is another, maybe third possibility. So these are all different types of things that you need to take on board before leaving. And I apologize to anybody that's been following along for a while. I don't mean to make all of these videos like solely about work and generating income, but that is kind of like, it is a major thing that you need to consider. And I do give what little I know about it online here, just so that those people who are thinking about doing the same thing come prepared and don't get shocked on their arrival. And I really wish that some of the other channels here that give out good advice would be, I guess, promoted more by the algorithm. A lot of them are smaller channels, but they've got some great gems that people interested in moving could actually benefit from. I find that a lot of channels that generate more views and have a wider audience tend to gloss over these types of things. They don't like to get real. And other ones, obviously, they do the exact opposite. They try to exaggerate the issues here. So anybody that's watching this should also kind of keep in mind that maybe some of the smaller channels actually do have pretty good advice. I think mine may be the least of good advice because I've been here for the shortest period of time. But there are definitely some gentlemen that have been here, Philippine Life Through the Eyes of an Expat. Stephen, he's great. And there are some other ones that are out there. Ben in Cebu, he's got some good takes as well. And I really, really appreciate what he has to say. So especially for expat living in the Philippines, that's a great place to get started if you're trying to get some advice and get on board with adjusting and moving abroad. Anyways, y'all, that's it for my break right now, and then I'm going to head back to another class here online. Later today, I'm going to go to one of my wife's friends' aqiqah celebrations for their new child, and maybe I'll take some video of that, maybe not. If not, and this is the end of the video, take care. I hope you enjoyed and got a little bit of benefit. And if I do actually continue to record, I'll see you with the next few different frames. Either way, take care, guys. Bye-bye. Assalamu alaikum. Guys, the aqiqah was great, but as I suspected, it was, a family event. So that said, there were a lot of people there, and I don't really have the skills yet to blur out all of their faces, except for maybe just like pictures like this one. But that said, thanks for watching, and please consider liking and subscribing and following along. Take care and see you for the next one.